welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, we'd like to talk about Red Velvet's Chill Kill, focusing on a little breakdown of the video, the trailer, and the hint fiction soundtrack to see what they can tell us about the story of this comeback. Now, Chill Kill refers to a person or incident that suddenly breaks the silence. This is a phrase that describes something that completely changes the course of what is interrupting, and in the song, the Chill Kill is none other than a person whose love changed their life. In the lyrics, Red Velvet missed the chill kill that broke their boring routine, and while their love is a bit toxic, they wait for this person to come back so they can have a happy ending. In true Red Velvet's fashion, however, the story also has some eerie undertones, so much so that Wendy described this comeback as an expression of tragedy and hope. As we see in a second, in fact, the video tells the unsettling story of girls confronting a traumatic chill kill that broke the silence in their life. According to Joy, this is a story of 5 sisters trapped in a tragedy. The moment a chill kill forces them to face the horrible reality they're living in, however, the sisters will find a way to gradually overcome their trauma and eventually even grow from it. At the beginning, for instance, the video opens by showing us a picture of the 5 sisters and a man whose face has been blacked out. As the girls get ready to perform for an empty chair, the picture is cut to exclude the man, thus implying that this individual has been recently cut off from their lives. The cutting of the neck, however, also implies something more ominous, because we soon find out that the man is no longer in the picture because he was killed. As the video brings us back to some time earlier, we understand why. In the story, we see that the girls are preparing a makeshift birthday cake for Yeri, who in turn is very pleased by this surprise. If you look closely, however, not only the cake is fake, but the girls themselves are in the basement and they're trying to keep quiet despite the happy occasion. This tells us that what they're doing is a secret. It's something they're not supposed to do, and the next scene confirms this as well. As soon as thunder starts rumbling, the entire house trembles and the girls freeze in place. It seems that the man in the picture has come home, and the girls are now scared they might get discovered. While the others stay still, Wendy approaches the door of the basement and quietly opens it. Yeri tries to stop her, but Wendy has had it. She tells them to be quiet, and then disappears up the stairs while her sisters listen through the door. Sometime later, the 4 of them go upstairs as well, and what they find is the real chill kill of the story as a whole. The house is a complete mess. Wendy is holding a bloody rock, and when she turns around, she has blood splatters on her face. Wendy here just killed the man to save herself and her sisters, and when the others realize, Joy screams in horror. After overcoming the initial shock, however, they soon start working to get rid of the body. Irene, for instance, brings out a shovel, Sugi cleans up, and Yeri pulls the rug to find a spot to hide the body. In the meantime, Joy is losing it. She's helping out too, but it's pretty clear that she's the most affected of the group. While we don't know who the man was, it's pretty clear that he's been holding them prisoners for a very long time, so it's possible that Joy's character might have developed Stockholm Syndrome. Either way, it's pretty obvious that Joy is not taking it well at all. After the girls hide the body under the floorboards, Joy tries to sneak out with the murder weapon. Sugi catches her at the door, and as they have a confrontation, Joy eventually breaks down as Sugi barely keeps it together. In the corridor, Wendy's having a hard time too. She's having trouble dealing with what she's done, because even if that was the only way to save her sisters, she also took away the only reality they were seemingly familiar with. When we catch up with Yeri, for instance, we see that she's back in the basement watching TV. Now she's free to go wherever she wants, but she chooses the basement anyway because that's all she knows. When Irene brings her dinner, in fact, she switches off the TV in the attempt to make her get out, but Yeri snaps at her. She seems angry at Irene for forcing her to face the changes caused by the chill kill, and Irene understands, which is why she hugs her instead of fighting her. You see, in many respects, the story of this comeback is a tragedy with many layers. The tragedy is the abuse that the sisters had to endure because of the man. It's the horrible act that Wendy had to commit to save them, but it's also the fact that even without him, the girls are still not free. The reality he gave them is the only reality they know, so now they have no idea what to do without the person that hurt them. In the video, we see that in the following days, the girls regain happiness by dancing together, and that is great and all, but even that has some dark undertones. Bear in mind, at the beginning we saw the girls moving the furniture to get ready to dance, but they were performing in front of an empty chair. This implies that when the man was alive, they used to perform for him, so now that he's dead, they try to maintain the illusion of normality by keeping that routine going. Even if dancing makes them happy and brings them together, there is always that shadow looming over them. The man has no face, but the reality that he built for them still haunts them. His presence still lingers in the house, but when we get to November 13th, that is, the date of the comeback, something finally changes. Bear in mind, this story is a tragedy, but it's also a story about hope. It's about girls able to grow and overcome the trauma that they endured, so on November 13th, they take drastic measures to finally let go. As they venture outside, the girls take the bus and go buy some gas. When the night approaches, they dress up, bring out their belongings, and eventually set the house house on fire with the body of the man still under the floorboards. As they look at the house burning, the girls bid farewell to the only reality they've ever known, and as they run away, they enjoy one night of true freedom in the woods. When they get to the road, however, the police catches up to them, and as they get surrounded, they understand that they're about to lose their freedom all over again. In their final moments together, the girls perform one last time. They dance because that's the only thing that they ever known, but also because dancing together was their happy place in those years of trauma. By the end, the police exit the cars hinting at their arrest, but the final shot is a recording of them frozen in a moment of happiness. Now that is the happy ending the song is talking about. In the story, the 5 sisters were each other's happy ending all along. It was not the man that hurt them, but also not them hurting him. In the tragedy that was their life, they found hope in each other, happiness in their dance, and also comfort in keeping each other safe. When they burned the house, they healed from the trauma and let it go, so they were able to dance one last time for them and them only. Now, whether this is really a happy ending or a tragic one, I leave you to decide, but if we take a look at the trailer and the hint fiction soundtrack, there is more to the story that we can discuss. In the trailer, for instance, the story of Chill Kill was initially introduced with the girls being trapped in a nightmare they seemingly couldn't escape. As they struggled with overwhelming visions, we also discovered that the 5 sisters might not be regular people after all. On the wall, in fact, we saw a flyer seeking to identify the girls, because as it turns out, they suddenly started to appear in other people's dreams all over the world. Later in the video, we also see the same picture in the book that Wendy was reading in her nightmare, thus suggesting that the 5 sisters might be entities with supernatural abilities not even they seem able to control. As the nightmares unfold, they seem to foreshadow the Chill Kill that will change their life forever. At one point, one of the members even writes the phrase "kill him" on a picture, so it's pretty clear that the intention to end his life is something that came from deep within. If we take a look at the hint fiction soundtrack, in fact, the story details the girls' encounter with a stranger during a recurring dream. Every time they have this dream, the stranger comes closer, and at the end, they eventually figure out that the stranger is none other than another version of themselves. Even if at first the girls perceive this dream as a nightmare, the other version of them explains that it's not, because they are their poet and their pain. We might even go as far as to say that it's their shadow, an expression of their trauma manifesting in the dream. And even if in the trailer this other version of them seems very menacing and aggressive, in reality it's actually there to help them. In the trailer, this concept is expressed with cryptic visions that also borrow a lot of imagery from different movies. Sulgi scratching her shoulder, for instance, is a reference to Black Swan, which is a movie that they already referenced back in Psycho. Speaking of which, the scene of Joy's body in the middle of the staircase is actually a callback to a scene from American Psycho. The biggest inspiration, however, is definitely The Shining. We have the girls twinning in the corridor, the word dream written backwards like the iconic red drum. Not to mention that when Sugi is attacked by herself, the scene is a direct callback to the final act of the movie. References aside, however, the dreams the girls have in the trailer very much foreshadow that something terrible will unfold. Irene, for instance, dreams of clocks, apples and ants. While rotting apples can be seen as a bad omen, in nightmares, ants symbolize that something bad is coming soon. The clocks reinforce this idea as well, because they really give off the idea that they are running out of time. While Wendy wakes up in a carnival where she's hunted down by an invisible stranger, the other members have visions of death. Yeri is seen crying surrounded by blue roses and knives. Sugi loses her teeth as her own double tries to kill her. Not to mention that Joy predicts her own death right before finding her body. The deeper in the dream we go, the more death we see on screen. In the corridor, Joy's body is found by Sulgi, Sulgi's body is found by Yeri, Yeri's body is found by Irene, but Wendy finds them all. If we consider what happens in Chill Kill, it seems that in the trailer, the girl's unconscious was trying to warn them about what would happen if they didn't do something about it. Right after Wendy finds the bodies, somebody writes the message "kill him," and after that, Yeri grabs a knife and Joy shoots an imaginary gun. This might imply that in the visions, the girls were being warned that they might die soon, and in order to avoid it, the only way was to kill him, that is the man that was holding them captive in the basement. In the vision, Wendy was the only one who didn't die, so maybe that's the reason why she had to kill him. Another possibility, however, is that she was the one who remembered the dream. In the hint fiction soundtrack, the protagonist was trying her best to hold on to the dream as the 5 girls wrote in their diary. In the trailer, it was Wendy the one with the book, so she was the one with the most information about who they are and what they can do. Because of that, it's possible that once they woke up, Wendy was the only one who remembered the warning, so she decided to kill the man before the man could kill her sisters. As of right now, this is just a theory, of course, but to see what else Red Velvet have in store for us, for now we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, however, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.